Jeshua, the return of the feminine Christ. What is the feminine Christ? I pose this question because this is what is rising now in humanity. This is what Mary Magdalene's reemergence now brings. It signifies an awakening of the balance because the feminine Christ has been missing. I use the word Christ very deliberately, for it is a message unto itself. It holds in the hearts of many human beings a powerful vibration and the concept of what it means to be God on earth, the Creator fully embodied in human expression. Until now, this focus has been centered on me. But without the feminine, the circle of divinity is not complete, and the essence of love and power is not blended as it must be. It is the time in humanity for the understanding that when the Creator came to dwell amongst humans, the living miracle, the great mystery came balanced in both the masculine and feminine, expressed in symbols of human beings. Thus did Mary Magdalene come with me to embody fully the heart of God as the feminine, just as I came to be the living expression of the masculine, and without each other our message is incomplete. We are like a candle flame that can only burn when we are together. The candle itself is the endless life of the Creator within us that fuels our expression outward into the world. In every moment in the realms of life and light, we are giving as one whole life in God, fully expressed. One whole life as God burning the light of freedom. It is one movement of life that is the divine as it reaches out and makes more of that which it is, and names it perfect. In the story of my and Mary's life, we come to the place where she unfolds, where she steps into the truth of her divine nature, and becomes for me my full and glorious partner, that together we might be the strength and tenderness that nurtures the Creator's love as every heart and see the eternal seed of divinity in each one. I had the honor of watching my beloved as she became the joy of Goddess unfolding, as she recognized herself as divine love embodied in a form of living light and endless given love. To watch her was to fully grasp God's power as not only the flesh and arc of lightning, not only that which shines so bright it must be noticed, but also as the power of love's support to bring to every life its richest and its fullness. The divine feminine holds life in the cradle of her tenderness as the living all of love. It honors every life and breathes the breath of the inclusiveness of her joy in every moment, in every spark of life upheld perfectly and eternally in her heart as the Great Mother. She recognizes each one as perfect and loves us all without conditions, with a fierce tenderness that nothing can break. It is a love that stands guard for every heart and calls it perfect. It is important to bring this awareness of the feminine Christ to humankind, because for so long the pathway to the Spirit have been conditional, born from the human perception of the Christ light and wrapped up in the energy of the reversed masculine. This view of the Christ has been filled with judgment, with ideas of sin, with thousands of conditions and rituals around the world in every form of religion. Even in the pathways of spirituality that believe themselves complete, the lack of balance and openness to the living whole, the masculine and the feminine, is apparent when the heart remembers, and the great flame of light and the circle of love are once more held in every consciousness and every heart. So it is the feminine love that encircles everything. It is that ocean of love that is complete within itself, that simply waits beyond all concepts of time and movement, and never wavers, never shifts. It is always here, ready for all of us to be immersed in love so grand and so unwavering that we are restored. I am the way shower who holds the light, who walks forth into the world and lights the way. I am the outward expression of that great explosion of life. I am the masculine Christ, and I am simply the representation of what lives within every person, each twin flame heart, and must be balanced by the feminine as I am with my Mary. But it is even more than this. In the real, we do not distinguish him from her, but simply exist as the Creator's dance of life energy that together expresses the whole of divine movement and life. Mary, on the other hand, as the feminine Christ, nurtures in silence, loves with such a love that the world is changed through her softly in a way that seems invisible, but shakes life and the world to its very core. On the threshold of the total grace of love's purity that will not be dissuaded. This love is that which never wavers, never stops, won't be denied, and embraces all in perfection. The feminine power is majestic in its commitment to being the never-ending circle of the mother's arms. While I am made whole and perfect in her, and she in me, in the world we express something needed in the symbols of the world and of human life being reborn. Reborn into the remembrance of what already exists. That pure life that is all things, that through the perception of human minds and consciousness must be named, and so it shall. The living Christ, the heart of God, is balanced as both masculine and feminine together as one great light, the living candle flame ever fed by the Creator's fuel. It is the atomic energy of life expression in the eternal moment, the moment when creation knows itself, when the all of love gains full consciousness and understands it as both the encircling love, the silence, and the power of explosive light. It is the movement that together brings life into full expression, the endless joy of the true awareness encompassed by the words, I am. The moment of creation is the birth of I am, the I am that is the hologram of conscious life. The moment of creation is the birth of the whole as two forces of light, the masculine and the feminine. For one cannot exist without the other and have consciousness, reproduction, increase, ecstasy in which the mystery dwells perfectly balanced. Because human consciousness works symbolically, the symbol that Mary, the Magdalene, brings of the feminine Christ is like a star rising for humanity's conscious awakening into balance, into true power. This must encompass both the inclusive embrace as well as the action, the silence as well as the voice. Without the silence, the voice has no meaning. Without the feminine, the masculine has no foundation, and is like a fuse that won't stay lit no matter how hard it tries. So for a man who is open to the spiritual life, to seek to become the fullness of light and life is to go forth, attempting to light oneself as a flame without the candle to nourish it. It is the balance of the masculine and the feminine Christ that gives humanity the true vision of who they are, of what they are as the Creator's love and life woven together into an expression of life that is true beauty in conscious. In this time of the unveiling of the feminine Christ, the heart of the Creator exampled in Mary, we bring back to humanity the tenderness of the great I Am that knows life is beautiful as each person, and feeds the soul, supports the life and gives nourishment to a power internal that accords creation, accords the source and the love well. The feminine Christ loves completely, loves passionately and fiercely, but with gentleness and unwavering devotion, and holds the light within it that supports the great explosion of divine masculine. It gives a foundation in the ocean of life, that eternal embrace that soothes the being and gives it vision of the unlimited nature of love, as endless and personal, as tender and powerful. It is a love that can be trusted and relied upon, a love that never wavers and that lifts each person up into the real and accords each being its beauty. So I present the flame that is true light, the white light and the gold, the masculine and feminine. We also express that in the realms of God, in the endless fullness of the eternal mystery. There is only the awareness of what is whole, of what is perfect, of what is moving in perfect accord in gentle harmony, in ecstatic expression in the atomic orgasm of love, in every expression of life, in the whole of endless love that is our Creator. In that mystery is the experience of everything, the all that is that lies within us, and the in-breath and the out-breath. It is love dissolving into the whole and then emerging as that glorious whole that knows its dance, and it is glorious and ecstatic. Because there is no time, the in-breath and the out-breath are simultaneous, and thus consciousness is circular, an all-inclusive awareness of the living whole, of the Creator living, speaking, loving, celebrating as us in eternal movement that is all things at once. You can reiterate the words cannot encompass this, but speak the promise that the heart can accord it, and that the great passionate flame of God's ecstatic expression, the heart, two flames in one candle, is known to all, and every heart is ready to embrace it. This resonance speaks of the heart's reality and opens up a glorious elevation that raises the heart in a purity of expression and a perfect moment of waiting for the living Word to be expressed through us. So while even the concept of masculine and feminine as related to life on earth are very limited, they yet have their place in leading you to the intuition of what is beyond words, leading you where only the heart dwells and bringing that resonance in its fullness into your being, into your heart as an expression of the living hologram moving outward as a twin flame light in service in the world. None of this comes from outside of oneself, but rather is the fountain of the Creator's love pouring forth with man and becoming the nourishment for all human beings in the world. I am becomes a statement of this great resonance of the one life of the endless Creator. When you say I am, the masculine and feminine come together and ignite and become the expression of the Creator's passionate delight in communion with all that is within him or her. Deep within your heart, love remembers. That which we gave to the world was this perfect vision, Mary and I together. We spoke continually of the holographic life of the divine masculine and the divine feminine in balance. Mary stood clothed in living flames of gold. Each person who saw her was left breathless. Each heart that came in contact accorded both of us the words come forth as well among humanity. Every heart sang with this resonance that is the song of life. Hearts cracked open everywhere we went. Lives changed as the goddess love repaired what had been rent by the world's illusion. Yet the human ego quickly rushed in with its own agenda of false power, of power over one another rather than power that moves from within equally. Thus that tender love that is the feminine Christ and brings to every being their perfection had to be squelched, had to be made wrong, because a person who knows their true worth cannot be manipulated. No one can have power over such a one. So that part of life that brings that flame of truth into heart, soul, mind, and awareness, that wraps each life in a mother's love, fierce and tender, had to be nipped in the bud for the ego's agenda. But the time is here when she returns and calls the world back to wholeness, that the circle of life may once again be whole. Therefore my beloved reemerges into human consciousness as light, God, goddess, the divine feminine, in all her beauty, and instantly each heart will know that this is what they have been missing. They will open to the nectar of the goddess, the power of the divine as mother, and thus the ego's world will be dismantled. This shining truth will restore to each person their true worth, and the ego structures will have to fall that accorded them less, that named any person less than another or less than perfect. I am the living truth of love, raising the candle that shall for a while blaze forth with Mary's image until she has accomplished the healing of every heart, which then can return to the real balance that is the whole, the masculine and feminine as unbroken love, merged together in an eternal dance, glorious, joyful, and perfectly expressed on earth, as it is in the real of love. Amen.